Hello, my fellow meat munchers. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're building right here near the Moonshiner's Shack in Vault 76 because we want to be close to Meat Week. We're going to be building a repurposed boathouse that's been turned into a meat shack. Okay, but first we need to make some double doors, but we're going to make a blueprint so that we can place these all over again. Now you're going to need to do this, switch this to a normal wall so that you can delete it, so that you can delete that, and delete the stuff out from under it. The idea of a double door here is you need one of the doors to be open while the other one is closed to give that mirror image effect, like so. So you want to kind of eyeball it and spin it, and then build your second door over here, which when you're done, will be open, which of course will be closed. Obviously I'm way off here. I need to move the this second foundation over, and this is going to take a little bit of time, but this is why we're making a blueprint, because once you have that blueprint down, you're going to be blueprinting just 2 foundations and 2 walls, and then once you have that done, you'll be able to plop down a blueprint of double doors wherever you need. And so future builds will thank you. And also, if you use a non-Atom Shop item, you will be able, of course, to put them in your friends' camps. But the finished blueprint will look something like this. And they're not connected. They're just placed strategically next to each other. And we're going to take a normal old foundation here, and we're going to place it near this dock, so that we can get this blueprint exactly 1 foundation away from the dock. And if you're confused right now, I'll show you exactly how this works. We're throwing this door in, and then we're going to change this to a normal wall, delete that wall, and that'll allow that door to sit there. And they need a second foundation underneath the front of it to allow the door to not be floating. It's a stupid mechanic, but let's just build this out that way so that we can have that spot saved. And now when you're going to change this over, you will have your double door. When you close that door, they'll be closed together. Let me just throw some floors down so I can show you what I'm talking about for once in my life. Like so. Now, once it's down like this, you will be able, of course, to close that door. For the game, it would actually say open, if you know what I mean. So that's how you make your double doors. And so now we're just going to delete around here. And what we're going to try to do is center this a bit so that the build is centered around the doors. So we're just going to pull it and slide it towards us. You can do that by just holding down on that action button and pulling the joystick towards you, or if you're on PC, you can use the mouse wheel to scroll, and that'll make sure it doesn't go up and down at all when you're moving it. It'll just slide about back and forth. And let's do a little temporary floor here, and of course here. Now I'm doing something a little weird here because of the double door. I need to put a wall above that door, because there's no double door frame, right? So we need to construct one out of garbage, hopes, and dreams, and maybe some cosmetic items from the Atom Shop. That sounds about right, doesn't it? So let's pull this in and make sure it is flush with this wall, because that will tell us that it hasn't shifted front to back at all. I'm going to build out this way, and then I'm going to build up some stairs like this, like so, and put an upper floor here. And what we're going to do is use a contemporary half wall, which when destroyed, we will be able to delete the upper floor out from underneath it, which will allow that half wall to float up there above these doors. And once we repair it, we can see we do want to bring it down a little bit. So you look at it, you say, oh, that's a little too high, there's a gap, and then I'll just bring that down. So you just go back and move that down. And I skipped that part because you don't want to see me fiddling around with too many things, too much. It really, at some point you have to call the police when you see someone fiddling that often. Now, we're just going to put these here pull up against the door, open the door so you can see if they're intersecting with that frame. Push it out just a little bit. This will give a nice texture to that front, and it will also help, you know, cover that door area around these double doors. And then we can just put some normal walls in, and then once these are repaired, we will have them. But before we repair it, I have moved that back foundation down a little bit so that we can try this again with a new half wall. So burn, get rid of the bottom floor, because you really can't see until that upper floor there is gone, if it's too high or too low. So let's jump around like a chicken for a few hours, I guess. This is quality craftsmanship. Thank you for watching. Let's see, get rid of that, and let's bring this out a little bit more as well so that we can start putting in the second row of floors for this building. It's only going to be 2 floors deep. It's a bit wide and a bit short. So it's a bit of a, I believe these are called a hoagie of a build, or, you know, something else. Anyway, a chode. So let's go over here and put our walls in like so. And I'm going to be burning this one as well. And I'm also going to be putting in some more footage that probably could have been edited out. You know how I like to make sure that I provide you with the best content available to me in a pinch. And the pinching is pretty bad. I don't like to get pinched personally. Usually it feels a little uncomfortable. Makes me start to giggle, you know, and that's just not something anyone signed up for. Now let's delete the thing that I showed myself building, and I'm going to put in a second defensive wall here, and then burn it, and then I'm going to put that log wall back. When that's repaired, it will be a really nice metal covering for that window. So that's something to be excited about, I think. Why not? And yeah, let's see. I'll put a half wall down there, and I'll leave the top so that we have all that mushy metal and shit. We just want this thing to look run down and old as much as possible. Now, I never repaired that front to see if it fit, so I'm sure it did. And I apologize, this is a little all over the place. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's really hard to, like, if you have ADHD, to, like, stay on one task at a time and just keep going back and redoing everything 100 times. Is what I like to do, because, as I said before, expert. Now, let's put some of these up. Obviously, I shouldn't have burned those yet, because now I can't put these top arches on those, but that's fine. I'll just burn them again. Why not? We have plenty of time. We have nothing but time. After all, you know, it's not like we have other obligations. So, yeah, that's fine. You know, I could be out scorched earth doing that again, and I'm wasting it burning this a second time. That's a waste of time, because that is a hunter's double barrel shotgun that I am missing out on. Let's snap this across like so, and we already have built out this way, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna put sort of an overhang thing. And I'm going to shut these so I can get this built out over them. And a contemporary wall, half walls, when they're broken, they don't have the bar across the bottom, which is what registers support for them, which allows you to get rid of stuff from underneath them, which is really helpful for getting them in tricky places where you wouldn't otherwise be able to float them out there. Just a patchwork quilt cover up the garbage that you've created. And it's a very helpful feature. Which is probably just another way of saying that probably in a few weeks, Bethesda will realize that it's possible to do this and patch it, because God forbid we have a little bit of enjoyment while we play this game. Let's bring this around all the way like so. And another layer. What we're going to do here is burn the bottom layer, maybe? No, we're going to burn the top layer, which will allow us to delete shit from underneath it. So build up some stash boxes. Isn't it helpful when I don't even know what I'm talking about? That is something that I've found really propels me forward in life. I seem to be, doing well for myself, sitting here in Mama's basement. Hello? What are all these holes in the drywall for? So let me tell you a little story, my friends. I was, walking around, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, hate crimes in area chat. Holy shit! It gets more exciting every day. But that's, I guess, it just comes with playing any online game. This is it's fine. What's a little hate crime against you? It'll buff out. I'll walk it off. It's fine. It's not my first time. Won't be my last. Just thought it was an experience worth sharing. I hope you guys appreciate it. I won't go into detail because I will get demonetized if I repeat what was said. But it was a good time. I was trying to build this base and a man came up and he started yelling at me because I didn't PvP him the way that he wanted me to. It was very embarrassing for him. I felt sort of this sick revulsion as I watched him slowly walk me through his reasons for being upset, and I felt pity. But then that pity was turned, of course, into humor and hilarity when I began to laugh at him. But I didn't laugh at him. I was laughing with him, of course. Except he was more whining and crying and not laughing. Anyway, that was just a side rant. I thought you guys would want to know. Just a life update. If you're out here building and you're trying to follow this tutorial, I'm pretty sure that is one of the steps you need to follow. So if you get to a point and stuff isn't working out, just go get some hate crimes against you. Now what I did here was I'm going to place this roof up here, and somehow, I'm going to pray a lot, and then maybe, oh, there you go, thank you. And then what we're going to do is burn it, and then I'm going to be able to bring this roof here across, which it won't do currently because it's intersecting with this roof above it. It's saying that it needs support, which in reality it has support. It knows there's a roof too close. But if it's broken, it doesn't know that. So we can put these on right here. This will give us a nice little loft area. And I don't know, my voice did that. It just does that sometimes. I get really emotional, how I am. But anyway, so let me just come back here. And while we have it broken, we're actually going to repair these so that I can change them into the log half walls. Now, it might be the case that you could just do this whole thing with half walls of the log, and you don't have to switch them out. I did not test them to see if they have the same collision rules, so that might be something you guys can play around with. You might be able to delete stuff from underneath them if they're broken. But we're going to destroy that. And now, before we repair the upper roof, let's throw some hay bales in here. And so when you look up from the sides, you'll see the hay up in the loft up here. But we don't have to come in here ever again, and that'll be good. If you're wondering where to get the hay bales, it's from the item shop. That'll be $7.50, and I'll take. Would you like fries with that? I'm gonna just replace this, but let's do this. What else other kind of wall could possibly work in that area? I think only that one. Back here, I want to put this, but it's a little low because of the terrain, so just lift it up a little bit. Bring these over here. Do you like my adjectives that I'm using today? This, that, and this. That thing over there. I like to be descriptive with my words. What good is an English degree if you can't, refuse to speak it? Let's throw this tub down, and this tub will hold our tatas, which, by the way, are the unholy mutated potatoes with tomatoes formed into one mushy and bland starchy paste, which you can eat, and it is good for you, except for the radiation. And you can snap these directly over top of that, which will give us the floorboards of a little porch thingy, and it'll kind of look like we have the potatoes growing in that tub there on the porch. And this will, of course, allow us to put these really cool fences that only the porch gets to have down here. And that's a nice little side rant there. Let's throw that there. Yeah, that looks nice. Let's turn it. Beautiful. Now for over here, there you may see some chunks of, because the settler that spawns here will be in your way, and you may need to get rid of it, but it is meat week, so any sort of meat that's cluttering the area, I think, should be fine. Let's get rid of this. I think we're done with it. And if you need to, you just snap out from this back porch. One of the clever reasons of keeping this back porch this low, if you need to make some repairs or adjustments to that upper loft or the front, you have this back, which of course is your snapping point for that area. You can go all the way across there if you need to. We're just going to make it scrappy, have some different textures and shit up here, just to kind of change things up a bit. You don't want to use one uniform texture if you're making something scrappy, because it will look like a repeated pattern over time, because that's what it is, because we only have big ass squares to work with as far as the metal goes. So yeah, anyway, this is a cool little trick. Just throw all these on top of this barrel here and then find some sinky dirt. And I've done this with a lot of shit in this build. Let's bring it inside, and I've sunk it into the coffins, and I've sunk it into the rad barrel as well. Different flowers, but it's cool. Just an overgrown appearance. Now I want to have some nails sticking out of the floor right as you walk in, so let's sink this punji board down in so just the tips are sticking up, and stick that there. And also, you know, well, I got a little carried away mushing stuff down and sinking things, so let's do that as well. And let's take a look at the finished product. So as we approach it, you will notice that it is, you know, I changed the front doors. A note there, every door in the game has a different amount that it opens when it's ajar. So whatever double door that you want to use, if you want it to be closed, you make that blueprint with the door you want, because one of them will be open technically, which means it's not going to be fully flat the way you want it to if you switch those doors out. They also, some of them open left and some of them open right, so you need to be making sure you're making it with the correct doors that you want to use eventually. But some of them you can change out, and in this case it was helpful to, because we actually ended up with one that was slightly ajar because I used these painted wooden ones, which is a really cool detail, is just having that slightly ajar door. And I have all this crap, of course that pallet leaning up against the front wall is just a really nice detail, and that sign is sunk into that as well. But let's head on inside here, and watch out for those nails sticking up. Now if you walk in, the first thing you're going to notice, of course, is that we've got piles of meat everywhere. This is where we're going to be storing our meat during meat week to make sure that you know, it doesn't start rotting out in the fields. We have our bones waiting here to finish, the maggots eating all the flesh off it. I don't know what the process is called. I've sunk a scrap box into that little dresser back there, which of course is still accessible. And you know, the overgrown flowers and the piles of flesh. I sunk a chems bench into that log thing, which is fun. And we have this giant generator powering everything. And in this case, I think it's really nice to have that generator as part of the aesthetic. And if we're looking up here, we can see the loft. We can see that hay bales up there. And if you just look at the ceiling, it kind of looks like plywood with the little bits of hay that show through. And over here, we've, of course, where we're going to cook the meat, we've got some overgrown chairs and things. and just the little details really will make everything in your build pop. So those are really important. Now I want to take this quick moment, if you are not subscribed, to please zip up your fly, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, well, that would be awesome. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. If you already are subscribed, thank you so much, and consider hitting the like button or the dislike button if you're 3 subscriber Jeff and you're still mad about that whole, the thing that we had, that one business trip where I stuck you in the lake with a pole. Thank you to my patrons, and again, I hope you guys are enjoying all the meats. There's tons of meat to be had, the fat, the thick, and if you want to see more content, then well, hit that bell and you'll know when I go live, and I will see you in the next video.